Hello, my friends. Welcome to these divination sessions. These readings, we are diving into your next or current initiation. You'll know if you're currently in it or not, or you can probably also intuit if you're approaching an initiation period. So we're diving into what the initiation is. I have extracted the 8 initiation cards from the Kim Krans archetype deck. I just wanted to leave that little shout out. And then also we will be diving into aspects to just be mindful of as you undergo this initiation process. So hoping to get some good details for you guys in terms of how that's going to feel, most importantly, because how it's going to look is going to be different for everyone drawn to this. So 8 piles to choose from today, my friends. Take your time, pause the video if you feel guided to do so. Otherwise, we're going to jump right into these readings. What's up, group number 1? Here is your reading for your current or your next initiation. And we will also be diving into just something to be mindful about, to allow you to enjoy this process as much as you can. So your reading is very clear to me, pile number 1. The pile that you chose, the initiation card that you guys were drawn to, was the Kairos, which talks about mythic time. It talks about synchronicity. It talks about, not taking so seriously what you see with your physical eyes. Judge not after appearances, right? It's seeing things through more of your spiritual lens, right? The eye that is much more connected to the behind the scenes workings, right? Your intuitive eye versus what's happening on the surface. Because I am hearing overall, you guys, I feel like this has to do with like some sort of project or something that you have started maybe within the last 1 to 2 years, or even 1 to 5, 2 to 5 years for some of you guys. But I'm hearing that overall, it's like a current initiation period, or it's something like if you're about to launch this new project, if you're about to really put yourself out there in a powerful way, this is going to be your next initiation. But for majority of you guys, I feel like many of you guys are already in this period of feeling like things aren't going exactly as you want them to go, or exactly as you would have hoped. I feel like, in this day and age of this age of Aquarius, and this age where we can get so entrapped by numbers and seeing so many people seem to have so many numbers, and then when we are guided to put ourselves out there and put our heart and our soul and really walk confidently as we can on our dharmic path, it can be kind of frustrating. It can be disheartening. I totally get it, pile number 1, when we don't see the fruits of our efforts immediately, right? But I'm hearing that this is part of your initiation. This is part of the current, or for some of you guys, I feel like it's just a few select of you guys. What you're going to enter into is you're going to launch a new program or launch a new product, or really go down your road less traveled, right? You're going to fully lean into your destiny life, and you're not going to see results immediately, right? Because we do have this waiting game coming up. So your current initiation and what to be mindful of are one and the same. Do not take the bait of what your outer reality is suggesting to you as meaning anything about you being on the right or wrong path, or meaning anything about your level of success. Our dharmic path, you guys, pile number 1, I feel very guided by your guides to remind you that your dharmic path is meant to purify you. It's meant to purify your heart. It's meant to purify your intentions. So if you come here and you feel like you have gifts that you want to share with the world, you have a certain idea, you have something that is here to, with this Aquarius energy, really help humanity, really help the up-leveling of humanity, and you're just a light worker, whatever it is, it's like Spirit really wants to make sure your heart is in the right place. So we can go into some things, we can start traveling down our dharmic path because we want the fame, because we want the money, because we want the success, but then you really start to walk this path and you start to purify and you start to come closer, you become drawn closer to Spirit, right? Because you're really met with yourself on this path where you're trying to make a living in a much different way than what society has said up to this point in time is a way that you can make a living, right? So just understanding there's a lot of components here, right? With all of these fractals, it's just Spirit is really bringing your awareness to the fact that there's a lot of components to this, including the time that you've incarnated on the planet, including the fact that there's a lot of structures that are in place that many light workers have incarnated at this time to help bring down, right? And so you have that aspect, the way that we're doing money is changing with cryptocurrency, right? There's a lot of aspects to this that I feel like you're not fully seeing. And a big part of that is just honoring honoring the entire journey and not being so focused on the results, right? The day that you plant the seed is not the same day that you will reap the harvest. So overall, your initiation, your current initiation is allowing this gestation period, allowing the journey to unfold as it will, and not making any assumptions, right? Judging not after appearances is so important, you guys. Like, judging not after what your external reality would like to suggest, because a lot of that is old karma running itself off. So if you start to like interact with those old appearances as if they were real, or as if it's like what you're creating now, then you're just going to perpetuate that, right? So it's really important that you're seeing your thoughts, you're seeing these beliefs, you're seeing these external demonstrations, and you're not making them mean anything more than what it is, right? There's a lot here that I feel like Spirit really has you on this path of purification, so that when you do start to make your empire, when you do start to build, because I feel like this is inevitable for you guys, whatever your endeavor is, your success is inevitable. But I feel like you guys are in a period where you're feeling a little bit defeated, or where you're really looking over your shoulder and you're like, okay, Spirit, like, you are leading me in this direction. Why am I not seeing it? Right? This is part of it. This is part of the path of purification, right? It's not for the faint of heart, but the rewards, the holistic rewards and the holistic levels of prosperity that you experience cannot be replaced, and it cannot be taken away from you, right? Regardless of the fluctuations. So Spirit is really wanting you to be in the center of the rung of the wheel of samsara, so to speak. So you're not being so thrown around, right, by the whims and fancies of life, right? And if you guys are here to be of service to other individuals, it's really important that you're learning how to extricate your sense of identity from the comings and goings of reality, because that's essentially what a light worker does. They help other people bring clarity into their incarnational experience. They help people see things from the level of the soul versus the level of the incarnation, right? The limited self. And so you need to be able to do that yourself, right? So it's not just lip service. So your success is inevitable is what I'm hearing. You're just in this, right? It's like the roots are there, right? There's a waiting game, but it's like your success, the sprouts are inevitable, and you guys might even be seeing some of those fruitages finally, or I'm hearing that it will come very soon. But some of you guys, this is like an endeavor that you started like between like 1 to 2 years, or I'm seeing for some of you it's been like 2 to 5 years coming. But judge not after appearances. Just know it will come right when it's meant to, and there's other things behind the scenes working in your favor. And I'm hearing pay attention to the signs, pay attention to the synchronicities, pay attention to what is happening in the realms of where Spirit is trying to communicate to you where to make little tweaks in whatever it is they're giving, and to be flexible. I'm hearing it's really important that to remember our calling will remain the same. Wanting to be of service to humanity will remain the same, but not being so rigid that we're so rigid in how we think it's supposed to look, that we're not making the tweaks that would actually catapult us a lot more quickly and a lot more farther than where we currently are, right? So remaining flexible and not taking your cues from the outside, but really tuning in. So I'm going to leave this reading here for now, pile number 1. This is your current or approaching initiation. I hope this brought clarity, confirmation, peace to your heart, and I hope I see you guys soon. What is up, my friends? This is pile 2's reading for your next initiation or your current initiation, and just something that your team behind the scenes would like you to be mindful of as you, walk this path, or as you integrate these codes, I should say. So you guys chose the Aletheia card, which is really interesting because in what to be mindful of, we also have the Truth Be Told card come up, which in this deck, this Aletheia really stands for truth, right? It's interesting too, because I noticed that we had the black rose and the white rose here, and then with this Chariot card, we have the black whatever that is and the white whatever that is. And so I feel like there's something that is like, I feel like you guys, your next initiation is going to feel like a period of deep reflection and of deep healing. And, healing takes place on so many levels, right? But I feel like this is a healing of your perception, right? Because this talks about, to me, this spread is so clear. This talks about like dropping the facade, or seeing things beyond just like what your smaller self, what your limited self has taken on in this incarnation, right? So seeing beyond like the role that you're playing, right, with this wise old owl. And because you're able to see beyond the surface of whatever's happening, or whatever you think has happened to you, or whatever you think is currently happening to you, like your heart just is blown open. Right, you experience all of this incarnation with so much joy and so much bliss. Like, this is an awakening, you guys. Like, that's truly, I feel like, what this, like, there are certain cards in this initiation deck, or within these initiation cards, that, you know, when the truth comes out, it's done so in a way, or it occurs in a way that leaves us feeling very disillusioned, right? And it can leave us feeling extremely just like, Father, why the fuck have you forsaken me? And like, what's happening? It can lead us into a dark night of the soul, period. But I feel like for you guys, this is leaving you, your next initiation or your current initiation leaves you feeling very hopeful. Like something in the past that you felt like didn't really make sense, or that left you feeling bad, or this could just be like not just one experience, but multiple experiences that left you feeling like you got the short end of the stick. Right? This could be for some of you most of your life. You could feel like here you are just like giving of yourself with the best of intentions, and it's consistently met with aggression or misperceptions of you or whatever. And I feel like your next or your current initiation, you're really healing this aspect of you that felt like it had anything to do with you, right? I feel like you're really removing your sense of identity from this limited form, and because you're able to do that within yourself, you're able to see other people too in that same light. You're able to hold the same amount of grace and compassion for other people, because, you know, we truly cannot expect forgiveness or compassion from ourself to our own self if we're not also extending that to other people. So if we're holding grudges, if we're casting the evil eye at someone, if we're whatever, jealous, envious, feel just like angry or bitter or resentful, it's like, you know, that's what instant karma is. That's going to be what we are drawing into our life. And that is literally the current energies that we are binding ourselves to in that moment, right? But I feel like you guys are going through an initiation where you're just seeing it for what it is. You're kind of really honoring both ends of the polarity spectrum, right? There's a lot here that suggests like you are going to make a ton of progress with this Chariot card. And what I love about this Chariot card in particular is he's turning inwards, right? There's a lot here. There's two crabs here, right? So there's a lot of this like Cancerian energy. I feel like this really is like you embracing the shadow, right? Because the Cancer is ruled by the moon. And so there's a lot here that I feel like you are finally seeing things for what they are, and you're not holding things against other people. Like there's a sense of freedom that I'm feeling. There's a sense of regeneration, of look, I love this. You just like see this person that just feels like they're just being bathed in a body of light, right? Within the star. I know it's kind of hard because my light's pretty bright, but I feel like you're just going to feel so bathed in truth and holistically, like you're going to be carrying yourself lighter. The way you're interacting with other people, it just like feels like an awakening, you know, awakening where our levels of awareness are expanding, and it's gone from just mind, right? It's gone from just concept, and you're really feeling it in in your cellular body, in your subtle body, of just like you just understand, you're seeing to a more clear level just the nature of reality, which is, you know, the truth of you and the truth of me is the same, right? The core of us is the same, but everything else that's happening is a mixture of the elements. It's karma. It's, you know, the different states of energy. Like it's just part of what makes this reality what it is. And I feel like even if you wouldn't use those words to explain it, I feel like Spirit is just really commending you for the progress you've made up to this point in time to make this type of activation or initiation possible. Because that means you guys have been doing your research. That means you guys have really been searching, seeking, yearning for truth, right? Truth doesn't come to us if we're not also, it's that weird thing where you can say that truth is calling you to it, right? But I feel like there also has to be a certain level of readiness within you. So your guides are kind of commending you. You guys are really commending you. And just really acknowledging the progress you've made up to this point in time. So this is an initiation that's going to feel very good. You're going to feel like a coming to Jesus, a coming to self, like you're not holding on to past resentments. You're able to forgive. Like forgiveness is going to be forgiveness of the past and things that people did, behaviors, states of mind, whatever they said to you, whatever. I feel like you're going to see it for what it is, and you're going to be able to give people true forgiveness and release people from your own ideas of who they are, and allow people to show up fresh in each moment, more to a degree that you haven't before, right? And because of that, that's going to be your experience of yourself. You're going to let yourself off the hook better. You're going to see yourself from this lens of much greater purity and much greater understanding overall. So I'm going to leave this reading here for now, pile number 2. I hope this brought clarity, peace, confirmation to your heart. Like, subscribe to my channel, comment down below, and I hope I see you guys soon. What's up, pile number 3? Welcome to your reading for your next or your current initiation, and just something that your guides would like you to be mindful about as you are navigating this period. So you guys drew the Anima Mundi card, which is equivalent to the World card in traditional tarot. And this card, to me, this always reminds me of, I hear the phrase, the world of the 10,000 things in the Tao Te Ching, which essentially just means, you know, the world of form. Everything that is born of the formless is this world of form. And so you guys are coming in, this next initiation, you're going to feel extremely powerful. You're going to be seeing things through a new lens. You're going to feel like you have this refreshed sense of life. You feel very youthful. You feel very excited, you know, regardless of what the age of your body might suggest. This is like a renewal of your spirit. I'm hearing that, like, it feels like you're going to be clearing a lot of past woundings with whatever period you're going through. I feel like maybe, you know, just like as we go on throughout life, and we get swept up and we lose ourselves in the realm of the 10,000 things, we can start to like bear chips on our shoulders, and we can start to like live with a level of protection over our heart. So I am hearing that like you guys are feeling like on top of your game. You guys will be feeling like the world is fresh, the world is your oyster, right? It's like everywhere you go, like you're attracting attention, you're attracting eyes, you probably look very attractive while you're doing it, and people there are just like you feel brand new. And people, you know, if there's been people that have broken your heart and have seen you, have been part of your journey, and see you go through these like heartbreaks and this loss and these betrayals, right? It's like people are going to be able to feel this new level, this new sense of like being in the world but not of it from you guys. We do have something your guides want you to be mindful of, is love begins in serendipity. So, you know, I feel like there's going to be an several opportunities to heal more of this. Don't be surprised if this triggers this. If new this starts to trigger old this, whether that be job opportunities, whether that be friendships, whether that be love interests, right? I'm just getting the sense that overall your things are going to feel very serendipitous. You're going to feel like luck is on your side with this initiation, and luck is going to be on your side. I feel like you've gone through a lot of this, and the wheels are finally turning into your favor. Pile 3, and I never want it to make it seem like the wheels weren't in your favor, right? This is every aspect of our life is part of our university, right? It's part of what we signed up for. It's part of what our higher self knew that we needed to experience. And if it's in alignment with our soul's blueprint, we can be sure that it is only leading us to greater self-fulfillment and knowing ourselves even more. So I feel like you guys have probably taken many turns. You guys have probably explored many different things, many different people, many different environments, right? I'm just getting like this sense that you guys have seen a lot. You're like maybe well traveled for some of you guys, or you just like know a lot of people with a lot of different backgrounds. It just feels like you guys have lived a lot. And I'm not speaking just in terms of like other incarnations. That can most definitely be very true. But I'm talking about within this lifetime in particular, pile number 3, I feel like you guys have seen a lot. You've been through a lot. You've experienced a lot. And I feel like because of it, like you have probably gone through things where you got really lost in it in the past, right? You got really swept up in it. You got swept up in the romance. You got swept up in the career. I just saw 333. You got swept up in, and this is pile 3, and there's 3 here too. So that's a lot of 3s. But it's like you got really swept up in the world of form. And so this next initiation, it's like you're going to experience even greater amounts of bliss and even greater amounts of joy and even greater amounts of connection, because you're like, okay, I'm not going to take the bait this time. Like, I'm going to enjoy it while it's here. Because I feel like sometimes maybe you were a little bit disheartened or disillusioned by things because they were so good. You felt so much of this. And I feel like this comes really easy to my pile number 3s. I feel like you probably have felt disillusioned in the past because you're like, oh, this is my person, like this is going to be here long term, or, you know, this is my career path, this is whatever, right? And it might not have worked out how you thought it was, or how you thought it would. But I'm hearing that these are all like, it's like you guys are on a very rapid path of expansion. And I feel like you're just really, you have really taken your lessons and just integrated them, right? I feel like this is a path that a pile that when you guys fall down, you don't stay down very long, or you do your best to see things from a higher perspective, from a more expanded lens of perception. And this initiation is going to add to that even more. So it's like, you can deeply experience, like this is true detachment. I love Jay Shetty talks about true detachment, and he quotes the Bhagavad Gita a lot, which you guys know if you've been following my channel that I love the Bhagavad Gita. But Jay Shetty talks about like true detachment is not being in the world, right? Not hiding away in a cave or a mountain, right? That's not true detachment. True detachment is when you're immersed in the world of form, when you can be face to face with your deepest desires, and when you can also be face to face with like the things that repel you the most, and you're like, okay, whatever, right? It's like, that's true detachment. When whatever is happening in your experience, it doesn't faze you, because you know that you are beyond it all, right? You have strengthened this, your third eye, to a level, to an extent, to a certain capacity where you're not fooled by it anymore. And because of it, you're able to enjoy whatever it is, whatever lessons comes with it, whatever part you're here to play, right? It's all in devotion to the one, right? And so I feel like this initiation is bringing you even more into that space of detachment, of true detachment, of just like enjoying it. You're not getting caught up in any of the bullshit, right? You're just letting it come, you're letting it go. And because of it, it's like, I feel like, yeah, it just seems like luck is on your side. And I think whatever you guys touch during this period is going to turn to gold. So whatever you guys are naturally guided to work on, whatever relationships you want to pursue, whatever friendships, whatever it is that you're doing, it's just going to feel like you're moving. You're so in flow, right? You're just moving. You're just going where the wind takes you. And you're relying less on your mind, right? You're relying less on logic, and you're really just going with the flow of things and living from this heart space. I mean, there's so much green coming up, right? There's so much about the heart chakra coming up here. And so you're activated, you're activating other people. And I just feel like this current or this next initiation is just going to feel so in flow with things. And you're going to be so magnetic, attracting the people, the places, the resources, everything that you need. And really just like devotion to life itself, but not getting swept up in it. So pile 3, I'm going to leave this reading here for now. I hope this brought clarity, peace, confirmation to your heart. Please like this video, subscribe to my channel, comment down below if it resonates, and I hope I see you soon. So I always wish that, or sometimes I wish that I'm recording as I'm flipping the cards over, just so I can keep these. You know, I like to flip the cards over so when I start delivering, I'm not like trying to figure it out on camera. I can just like deliver it straight, you know. But when you guys purchase readings for me, for example, I'll shuffle on camera and I'm like, ooh, this is why I love doing this on camera, because you cannot make this up. This is one of those paths that I was like, I wish this was recording, because I'm like, interesting. There's like, I mean, you can't lie here. All right, so first of all, we have 666 coming up as a very significant number for you guys, right? 666 right here. And then we have the 6 of Cups coming up, and then we have Memories of Love, which also in this Oracle deck is very parallel to the 6 of Cups in traditional tarot. So your guys' next initiation has to do with Thanatos, which represents death. We also have the Lovers card here, you guys. We also have No Place Like Home. So I feel like this might have to do in general with like, this doesn't have to do with like a romantic relationship. It most definitely could, but I feel like this has to do with like a very significant soulmate dynamic, a very significant soulmate relationship. Someone that feels really at home to you, or at least at some point they did feel at home to you. This is someone that I feel like many of you might have even known them for at least, I'm hearing between like over 5 and 6 years for many of you. This is someone that you might have even known from childhood, or like a relationship or a dynamic. I feel like overall, you know, this could just be talking about, I don't really want to like, I never like to deliver, like put fear into your guys' life, but it is also in my integrity that to deliver truthfully and honestly what's I'm seeing here. But there's different layers, there's different aspects. This is going to be different for each of you. For some of you guys, this is most definitely signifies the ending of a relationship, an ending of a dynamic, at least how you guys knew it at this point in time. So if you guys are lovers, you know, maybe that shifts to a more platonic relationship, or maybe the way that you act, your behavior or something is significantly different. This could talk about family members, you guys, because the way the Lovers is showing up, I'm just seeing this as like with the 6 of Cups coming up twice, you guys, you cannot make this up. It's like this has to do with like soulmate type of dynamics. And when I say soulmate, it's just beings that have traveled throughout incarnations doing work together, right? Playing different roles for each other. It's not anything more or less significant or special than anything else. It's just like, okay, your codes, your evolution, your stage of evolution is in alignment with where I'm at. Let's do this. Let's like do this upgrading, this up-leveling together. And so I'm hearing that something that has probably been a very significant part of your foundation for quite some time is nearing its end, or coming to an end, or this is your next initiation, is being able to let this rebirth happen of your own self. Because there might be something here, you guys, that's happening of like this individual, this attachment, this codependency, this whatever, this inability to let go of dynamics when they're dead and done. This doesn't have to be a lover. This could even be like a friend that you've had for some time, and there's some level of obligation that you feel to continue a dynamic when it's like you guys just don't align anymore. Your viewpoints are different. You just feel like you're going in different directions, and it's like sometimes we can have this guilt of like knowing that we are going to be more free choosing a path that doesn't involve someone else. There can be a level of guilt of like, okay, but you did all of these things for me. You were this person to me. You showed up in this way when I needed you. There's history there, right? It's like we can almost feel more guilty of knowing that we will be more free walking away from something. That's your spirit. That's your higher self. Because on the, in higher realms, you guys, it's all good, right? It's all good. There's no hard feelings, but it's only from this limited perception that we start to get really wound up in our minds of making something mean more than what it is, right? This is what we do all the time. Their cycles and seasons are part of nature, right? Even if you're not into this woo-woo shit or you're not into spirituality in this sense, just look to nature. Nature is church, right? Nature will tell you all about the nature of reality that you need to know, right? There's cycles to everything. There's winters, there's springs, there's summers, there's falls. So there's old things dying away in order to make room for new generation, in order to make room for rebirth, regeneration. You won't be able to make space for something that's even more relevancy and even more alignment, even more coherent with this phase of your journey. It can't come in if you're still holding on to the past, if you're unable to let the past versions of yourself, which are attached to these past people, these past circumstances, these past jobs, they have to die away too. So I'm hearing your next initiation, it's like either this is something that has like, it feels like it's out of your control. And it's one of those things where I feel like an initiation is going to happen. So either you're initiating it or higher self is initiating it. But ultimately, I feel like it's someone that you share really deep memories with. This could even be for some of you guys. And I hope people haven't clicked out already that need this message. But this could mean that your memories of someone, right? That maybe you've been holding on to a past love or a past like the one that got away or a past like friendship or a past dynamics in general that you guys have been holding on to, like that one person that was a significant part of your life that you compare everyone to, like all of your lovers. So it really doesn't, no matter how good or bad they may have treated you, right? I feel like we all kind of had that one person, but it's like no matter who comes in, you're always comparing them to that person. And it's interesting too, because if it might even be the case for some of you guys that the people that you are interested in, that you do give a chance, it's like there's some similarities that they have to do with this one person or, a couple of significant loves in your life. So for some of you guys, this is really releasing old memories and releasing your attachment, releasing your want, your need, your desire, your craving for this one individual to come back into your life, right? And just being fresh, being open, allowing this rebirth to have its, to work its magic on you. So ultimately, there's a huge just like need to let go, whether that is external or whether that's internally. I feel like you'll just start to feel your heart and the weight of the world feel like it's bearing down on you because you're holding on to something that is far past its expiry date, right? And if this does have to do with someone that is in your past, like a past first love or a past lover or something, someone that you're holding on to, it's like, they may or may not come around, but don't let that be your point of focus. Like, just always trust and always hold in your heart of hearts that if it's meant to be, if it's in alignment with your highest path, that it will come back. But trust that if it's not in your current reality, it's not in alignment with your highest path, right? That doesn't mean good or bad. It's just like what's relevant for you in this incarnation, right? So this next initiation is a death cycle of something. Could be internal, could be external. If it's external, it's going to be an internal thing as well. Might feel pretty intense for some of you guys, but this most definitely has to do with like a soulmate dynamic. Soul connection could be a friend, just high level soulmate in general. Something significant that has felt like home for a long time or that you continue to go back to, right, over and over again. It's time to let go. It's time to shed pile number 4. So I'm going to leave this reading here for now. Please like this video, comment down below, subscribe if you've been here before, and I hope I see you soon. What's up, my beautiful pile number 5s? Oh, I just want to make sure this is okay. Welcome. Sorry, that was real close to my face. Just want to make sure my mic was on. Welcome to your reading for your next or your current initiation and what your guides would like you to be mindful of throughout this period. So you guys drew the Apocalypsis card. So right away, I want to say that, based off this card and everything else I'm seeing here, that, you know, there was another pile where there was this unearthing or this revelation of truth that occurred. And the way that it felt in their reading and their experience is going to feel much more enlivening and good, right? It's going to be on the end of the emotive spectrum that feels really good, that we like to cling to, right? And we're all going to go through all different types of all of these initiations, right? So it just feels like your next or your current initiation, it feels like you guys are going to be left or are left feeling extremely disillusioned. I feel like you don't know which way is up. It's interesting. These almost look very similar in all the patterns that we see here, but I feel like, I feel like you guys are left feeling very disillusioned and like you don't know which way is up. You don't know which direction to go. I feel like you're left feeling like you got the short end of the stick. And Spirit is really asking you to be really flexible throughout this time period, right? Really flexible, because you guys are going through significant purges and significant strengthenings of your solar plexus chakra. Now, whatever this is, I'm not surprised we have the solar plexus coming up with this apocalypsis card. I mean, you can even see with the yellow tones here, it really speaks for itself, because, you know, this card talks about those truths, or like an intense removal of the veil. It's almost like the tower, where we're not ready for it, or like it completely catches us off guard, or it's like maybe we have been sensing something, but we didn't want to call it for what it is, or we didn't want to be truly honest with ourselves. Like, it was more comfortable to live within a certain level of illusion and delusion. It's like that saying of like ignorance is bliss. But I feel like you guys don't realize how by living under that illusion, or that whatever it is that you were not wanting to call as it is, or not wanting to see it as it truly is, I don't think you guys realize how much it was like taking a toll on your self-esteem, right? And I feel like just in general, this period, this initiation that you guys are going through, it might have to do with someone else. It might have to do, because there's a lot of cups cards here. It might have to do with feeling like seeing someone's, I don't want to say true colors, because it's not truly them, but it's just like you're able to recognize their own karmas and where they're at in their phase of evolution for what it is, and not like pretending that they're someone that they're not, or pretending that they are farther than what they are, or, you know, making that where they are mean anything good or bad, or just like making it mean something personal about you guys, like not basing your self-worth on the actions, the behaviors of other people, of like your coworkers or whatever, but understanding that truly everyone is kind of working within their own framework of their soul's blueprint, their soul's plan, their soul's lessons. And sometimes it's like, believe it or not, but sometimes like we're going to play both sides, where we're the ones that are making other people feel disillusioned, and we feel like we have put so much of our trust and so much investment in who we think someone is, or who we think an organization is, that it sets us up to be disappointed. I mean, if you've ever experienced being canceled, or if you just see cancel culture, or just, you know, we're so immersed in this cancel culture that I feel like it's so apparent to see for anyone that actually has the eye to see and the ears to hear, of like how unfair that is, like how unfair it is to like place people on a pedestal, right? When you place someone on a pedestal, you're essentially making them mean that they are somehow more godlike and less human than you. You're setting yourself up for disappointment when you're unable to see that someone else is very human, because then when they don't meet your expectations of who you thought they were, or who you expected them to be, it's like then you become so disillusioned, right? You become so disappointed, and then you project that onto them, and then they're absorbing all your volatility. But it's like, whose fault is that in the first place? It's your fault for putting them on a pedestal. It's your necessity to be accountable for the fact that you had a lot of projections on someone or on something to be a certain way, right? And I don't mean in any way to like make you feel bad, because I've been on both sides of this, where I've been very disappointed by people that I put on a pedestal, like teachers and stuff, but it set me free in the long run. It actually helped me strengthen this, because then I just saw 444 on the clock, because then I'm not in this place of where I'm thinking that someone knows more than me, or thinking that someone is any less off the hook with this nature of reality and this game of karma and being on earth than I am, right? It really brings you on the same playing field with everyone. these tower moments, these moments where the veil is revealed and we see someone for who they are and we see ourselves for who we are, right? Our self-sabotage, our bullshit, where our ego like gets the best of us, or whatever it is, our pride, right? It's like, that's all good, because we're removing shackles, right? These apocalypsis moments, yeah, they can be uncomfortable, but it removes us, it lets us see that we are in a cage, right? When we're so sometimes we're so immersed in the veil of illusion that we don't even realize we built a cage around ourselves. But it's only when these tower moments, these apocalypsis moments happen, that we're like, oh my God, I've been in a fucking cage, right? It's like, I think someone knows better than me. I think someone knows my life better than me. I think someone is just better than me in general, or someone has some sort of power over me, or it's like, this could be a person, this could be an organization, this could just be just like how you've been living your life up to this point in time, just feeling very disillusioned of, oh my God, I cannot believe that I bought into that. I cannot believe that I fell for it, right? I cannot believe that I wasn't at a place to acknowledge my own shadow enough to the point where I could recognize that shadow operating and just like consuming the mind of other people. But when you're aware of your own shadow and how your mind works, you're much more able to identify that in other people. So you're a lot less likely to get swept up in their bullshit. You're a lot less likely to become disillusioned, right? Because you're honest from the get-go of like, okay, as long as I'm putting my trust in this person, their person self, their limited self, I'm going to be disappointed. As long as I'm putting my sense of self, my sense of identity in this other person, I'm going to be let down, right? But when my focus, when I'm redirected to seeing things from a higher lens of perception and seeing the nature of reality for what it is, and not basing who I am off of like what other people think, or I'm not basing my self-esteem off of other people's behavior towards me, right? But I'm truly just seeing things more for what they are, which is this removal of the veil, right? The more that you do that, the less that you are feeling disappointed and disillusioned, and like the rug was swept up from underneath you, or just like that icky feeling that you get when it's like someone you really admire just like shows their ass, right? And then it's like, when you're on the other side of that, you hope to God that people have the same amount of grace for you, right? But they aren't always at a place, a capacity to be able to have that, right? And so it's kind of just like, I feel like in a lot of ways, internally and externally, this is you letting people off the hook more, and you just being more honest about what the fuck is going on, right? Internally with yourself and with other people. It's like we're all working with different aspects of shadow. We're all repelled by certain things. We're all trying to avoid certain things. We're all trying to get certain things, right? But again, removing the veil means you're removing more of those layers of forgetfulness that we take on when we take a human birth. We know we're going to take them on, right? Removing the veil means you're peeling those back. So you're seeing things more clearly, with more clarity. So you're less likely to be disappointed in the long run, right? So yeah, I'm going to leave this reading here for now. But yeah, overall, be flexible throughout this change, throughout whatever this initiation is, whatever it's showing you. I feel like this has more to do with be flexible internally, be flexible in your mind, letting people off the hook, right? Not letting like abusers or like gaslighter or whatever, right? Just honoring your truth, honoring your development, honoring like what you will and will not put up with. But at the same time, just like not binding someone else to their karma or their limited perception, their falsities, right? Not binding people or thinking, that like making that mean who they are, right? Not giving them room to grow and to show you that they can be someone different, because, if you've been on both sides of this, then it's like, when you are on both sides of this, you will see that you only hope that someone else can hold that same amount of compassion for you, because we're all going to show our ass at some point, right? You would hope that someone would not bind who you were 10 years ago, expecting you to be that same person now with all of the amount of work that you've done, right? So yeah, remaining flexible in that regard. And this is really going to strengthen your ability to count on yourself, to count on spirit above anything else. So I'm going to leave this reading here for now, you guys. Please like this video, comment down below, subscribe, and I'll see you soon. What is up, group number 6? Here is your reading for your next or your current initiation. So this is a beautiful pile. I mean, you guys chose the Eros card, which it has to do with like desire. It has to do with like sensuality. It has to do with it's not desire in the sense of a desire that's going to lead you down a path that is going to leave you feeling very shackled. I feel like for you guys, like there's always that potential, right? The downside to this could be like obsession, and could be like obsessively thinking about your lover or whatever. But I feel like
I mean, that is coming up as something that your guides want you to be mindful of like cleaning up your expectations, cleaning up any misperceptions that come up, right? Not misplacing your power. But overall, I feel like you guys are, this next activation, this next initiation, like with Passion Ignite, I feel like something is making y'all feel this, whatever she's feeling. I mean, don't we all like to feel whatever she's feeling? Like, there's not even words for that, right? And I feel like this could have to do with something that's happening on the material plane, like you're feeling like very abundant overall. You're feeling like you're the queen of your throne. You're feeling like everything is kind of going your way or going really well externally. Like business is going well, your work is going well, whatever you do in terms of that. But also I feel like this has to do with some of you. I do get a sense of like eroticism, right? Eros is short for eroticism. No, it's not short for that, but I feel like they have this, they're probably the same root, right? Eros, eroticism. But I feel like this might have to do with like a spark of a new romance, a new dynamic. And generally when we get that type of spark in one area, it really affects all other areas of our life. I mean, I know, speaking for myself, like when I have like a romantic interest pop up, like it allows that Kundalini energy to be activated to such a powerful force that sometimes I can't sleep. Like my sleep honestly pays for it. And I'm like very active. Like it's like you see things through like this rose tinted lens. But the more that you get on your path, and I feel like this is where spirit is kind of like being like, just be mindful of this, that you are utilizing that. You're not making the connection more than what it is, or whatever is sparking this, like this passion ignited, whatever it is. Don't make it about that. Utilize the energy for what it is, right? Utilize what the fumes or the fire that comes from that to fuel you in all other areas, right? We have the 21 coming up twice, right? And then we have Clean It Up in the World card. So I feel like this is something that just makes you feel like you are on top of the world, or a person that makes you feel like you are the world, right? Or they see you as being the world, or being everything that they wanted, right? I feel like in a deep way, you're just going to feel like you're going to feel like your value is being really acknowledged. And I feel like because of that, or the reason for that, I should say, is because you're feeling that first. Like this initiation is you're starting to feel closer to your own sensuality. You're starting to accept more of your desires and just your lustrousness, and just you are not settling, right? You're not buying into old beliefs. You're not buying into old patterns, right? With this Clean It Up, it's like I feel like this initiation is really naturally going to have you leaving the past where it is, and naturally have you leaving that old mindset of who you were or who you've been, these old ideas of who you were and who you've been. I feel like quite naturally that is going to die away, because a different part of you has been born, or is going to be born, right? And I feel like because you're feeling so self-sourced with this World card, you feel so self-sourced, like you're not relying externally for these things, that you're going to draw in a lot of opportunities. You're going to draw in a lot of people that are very magnetized and gravitated towards you, because you're just emanating this very queen, king energy. The Eros card is very magnetic. Like you just attract what it is that you need whenever you need it, right? And so it really feels like this initiation is going to feel like you're not really lifting a finger, but everything is coming to you. Like people are very receptive of you. I feel like if you guys are working on projects or working on creating something in the world, I feel like there's a lot of success that is going to be born of it. But I do hear the guides continuing to stress that you are not placing so much of your importance, or don't make what's happening externally more than what it is. Because when the degree to which we are swept up by the really, really good things that happen, interesting that I say swept up, right? With the Clean It Up, and he literally has a broom. But the more that we are swept up, the more we are able to get caught up in the positive things. So the degree that we let ourselves be carried on that roller coaster up is the degree to which we will feel and experience the negative parts of life when they inevitably come around, right? Because it's just part of this life, right? Again, if you look to nature, even if you don't believe in all this spiritual woo-woo shit, right? Look to nature. Nature is church, right? Nature is God. That nature is literally infinite intelligence, kind of showing you its mechanisms, showing how it works. Things are going to be born, things are going to die, things are going to burn down, earthquakes, right? We're going to have a lot of unfortunate events that lead to good fortune. And we're going to have seemingly when you have too much growth in a certain area, or too much good, right? Eventually that leads to chaos, right? So it's not holding one of them to mean anything more or less than what it is, and just kind of watching it play out. But I feel like this next initiation, this next activation is happening because you guys have done a lot of work within yourself. Sorry, that's my dog that sneezed. You guys have done a ton of work internally. Oh, I think he's reacting to my sage. It's okay, buddy. You have done so much work internally that your external has no choice but to reflect the amount of unearthing you've done, right? And I feel like you guys have come a long ways in terms of your self-esteem, in terms of how you see yourself, how you view yourself, how you carry yourself has changed over the years. And so this could be a current initiation you're going through, or your next initiation where it's like things come to you easily. Everything seems to be working out in your favor. More business, more sales, more whatever you do, more love opportunities, more like this passion is just going to feed more passion. But again, it's really important that you don't get swept up in the ride. Don't get carried away. It's like being in the world, but not of it, right? Just like letting life do its thing. But overall, you're feeling really good. You're feeling just like so magnetic, so attractive. It's like, it's this feeling of like, if I want it, I could have it, but like, do I actually want it kind of energy that you guys will be in. So I'm going to leave this reading here for now, pile 6. I hope this brought clarity, peace, confirmation to your heart. Please like this video, comment down below, subscribe if you've been here before, and I hope I see you soon. What is up, pile number 7? Welcome to your reading for your next or your current initiation, and what it is that your guides would like you to be mindful of throughout this process. So your guys' initiation card is this Gnosis card, which has to do with like, it's stuff that you can't just know. It's a level of knowing that far surpasses just like what the facts, what the figures, what your mind can read about, what your mind can learn about. And this really has to do with like true soul knowledge and what your soul has learned throughout incarnations and what you've gained to be true, what you've known to be true. It's like you can read books, but it's like those books, if anything, are only here to confirm what it is that your soul is already whispering to you. Otherwise, it's going to remain at the level of mind, right? At a surface level. So I'm seeing that your next initiation has to do with a deepening of this. And like, I feel like you guys are really sharing more of what it is that you know about the nature of reality with this community card. You guys, you might also be seeing 888 a lot. It's interesting, you guys. You can't make this stuff up. We had the Moon card come up in the tarot, and we had the Shadow card come up in this Psychic Oracle deck, which are the same. It's like the same thing, right? They both represent the Moon card. So it's interesting because these two tarot cards that I have pulled in terms of like to clarify your archetype or to clarify your initiation card, we have the Moon coming up in the clarification, and we also have the Moon coming up in what it is that your guides want you to be mindful of throughout this process. So I feel like a big part of, like, I feel like you guys, your next initiation is becoming more of a teacher, becoming more of a guide for other people. I feel like when I see this Death card, I just see the endless, like it's called the endless dance of death, right? I see this as just like honoring the cycles of life, being in flow, being in alignment, not like just being honest with just this journey that we find ourselves on. Like you guys feel like this initiation is bringing you into greater amounts of clarity with yourself, a greater amount of clarity with the nature of reality and how life works and how relationships work, and just seeing things from the level of soul, right? Because we have the Moon and the Shadow coming up too. I feel like this is like what you are here to teach to your community or to the people that are following your work or that are in tune with your codes, or just that really appreciate your expression. I feel like you help other people. A big part of this initiation is you being able to a greater degree, I just saw 2, 3, 4 on the clock, but to a greater degree that you, maybe not to a greater degree than you have experienced before, you will be able to communicate the realms of shadow and be able to help people see the shadow realms, not from this like perspective or this angle that it's something that we should be shameful of, but seeing that it's just part of the endless dance of death, right? It's just part of these life cycles that we take. And so I feel like this is a pile where your next initiation, like even more than you have before, like you are just seeing things from just like such an expanded level. Like this is an extremely advanced pile, like more so than the other piles that I've read for. This, like, it's very clear, and not saying that those piles, you know, they're not advanced, but or whatever, or making that mean anything more than what it is, right? Not over explaining yourself, right? But just like, you're just like, this is what the fuck it is, right? You guys are extremely wise, extremely, you guys are very in tune with how things work, very in tune with how the soul operates, probably with reincarnation. I wouldn't be surprised if you're well versed in many different cultures, many different religions, many different teachers, right, that have all been pointing us to the same place. This almost reminds me too of the phrase, don't mistake the finger for the moon, right? There's so many different ways that we can verbalize and like create words to help us, kind of see things for what they are. And so what that essentially means is like, don't mistake the finger for the moon. So don't mistake the words that someone is saying or the vehicle they use, right? Which could be religion, which could be, just the lexicon that people use. Don't mistake that for being the most important aspect of it. That's not it. Like where they're pointing to, the vibrational resonance is what is most important, right? And vibrational resonance has to do with like paradigms, helping people to see through brighter paradigms, more expanded paradigms. So they're living with more freedom, right? They're not being so shackled in misperceptions and how other people view them and shit that honestly doesn't matter, shit that's ephemeral, laying their treasures up where moth and dust will corrupt, right? So I feel like this is, regardless of what field you guys are in, I feel like you guys are helping other people see things from a more expanded level, right? You're not making it mean. You're helping people not make things mean more than what they are, and true freedom, helping people see and experience life through more expanded levels of freedom, which has to do with their levels of awareness, right? So I feel like, ultimately this current initiation or this next initiation or the initiation, you're coming up on or whatever, like your community is really being shown, or you're calling in more community, or calling in people that really resonate with whatever you're putting out. I would be surprised if you guys didn't have some sort of platform where you're sharing, because that honestly comes in. That's honestly part of most old souls to advanced souls. That's part of their blueprint, is they just can't help but share this stuff. It's really written, really written in most blueprints, that when you become this wellspring and you've learned so much, that you can only learn more once you're letting that go. It's like that phrase, seeking ends when sharing begins, right? So you really end this cycle of seeking when you just are already sharing what you know, because you're making more space. Spirit sees you as more of a receptacle, more of a vessel of like, okay, this person's putting out a lot of light codes. I'm going to give them more light codes to put out into the world, right? And so as you help other people expand, you can't help but expand too. So it's really clear that you guys are teachers. You get your next initiation, or your current initiation has to do with expanding your capacities to be an extremely great, an extremely powerful teacher, an extremely powerful guide, really helping people come to terms with their shadow, understanding karma, understanding, just like the cycles of life, and helping people to see through a lens where they're not holding shame, they're not holding embarrassment, they're not taking those past karmas with them, but they're letting go, right? They're able to let go of these things that have bogged them down, probably for years, if not decades, right? So your next or your current initiation, your capacity to teach and to impart true lasting, when I say lasting, I mean lifetimes of enhancements in other people's life. Like, this is true soul work, right? This is a true guide. This is a true mentor, is helping people see things from a more expanded level. And you do so in a way, like, you're very articulate in whatever way, whatever words, whatever method, whatever vehicle you guys are using is perfect, right? You guys are on a really good path. And I'm feeling a lot of accolades from your guides, from your team behind the scenes, because this has been, I feel like, is really caused you and asked you to look at your own shadow to a really deep degree, and to degrees at some points that have felt extremely uncomfortable. So I'm going to leave this reading here for now. Please give this video a like, comment down below, subscribe if you've been here before, and I hope to see you soon. What's up, pile number 8? Here is your reading for your next or your current initiation. So you guys drew the Agape card for your next initiation, which has to do with like this devotional sense, this devotional type of love, or this love that seems like it far supersedes your own incarnation, right? This is love for life itself. This is love for humanity itself. The cards that are clarifying, the 2 tarot cards that are clarifying this card, you guys, is the 10 of Pentacles and the King of Pentacles. So I feel like, this is just acknowledging, and this is initiation where you guys are coming into a greater alignment with abundance. And this most definitely has to do with like material abundance in terms of like your friends, your relationships, like soulmate type of dynamics, not necessarily love, but that could absolutely be part of it. But this is just like external an external reflection of the internal unearthing you've done, right? By keeping your heart open, especially in this day and age. Like, this is a gift. This is a true initiation. This is like an initiation that I feel like we all need to go through right now, of how to keep the heart open when pride and just creating barriers to vulnerability are so high on the planet, right? And so I feel like your next initiation is going to leave you in a place, like, it might happen in a way that, like, it might come in the form of like an obstacle and a challenge, you guys, is what your guides are asking you to be mindful of. Like, this kind of reminds me of the tower card with this regeneration. The regeneration that can happen after a tower moment. And some of my most heart-opening experiences, you guys, have been because there was a significant tower moment where, like, I had no choice but to put down my pride, where pride was literally ripped out from me. And it's these moments that, like, when your heart breaks open, you only have two choices from there. It's to either build, like, let your heart, build structures and build barriers around your heart, or to let it stay open, right? As much as you can, like, let that tenderizing happen, right? Because the tenderizing and keeping your heart open is what's going to allow your spiritual abundance to pour through, right? So you're allowing more of your spiritual identity to be part of your life. And because of that, it has no choice but to externalize itself. It has no choice but to materialize itself. So I'm hearing that your next initiation has to do with, like, a breaking open of your heart. But again, it might come in a form where you're like, this feels kind of shitty, right? But that's only, like, again, that might just be a catalyst into this heart opening moment, right? Where, like, a relationship falls apart, or, like, something happens in work, something happens with your job, or something that, this kind of reminds me of the tower too. Something that was once sturdy, or felt very sturdy, or whatever, like, is crumbling down. Something as you knew it, right? A relationship, something that at one point felt like a sturdy foundation for you. But that's only making space for regeneration to happen. So I'm hearing that it's really important to understand that, like, this initiation might come in the form of, like, bad news, or something that you don't want to hear, or, like, it can almost feel, you can almost feel disheartened by it, because maybe you guys might be a pile where you've been working really hard on your path and to create stability for yourself, and to create a firm foundation within yourself. And I'm hearing it's important to know that that's not going away, right? But the parts of you that were still relying or still seeking external validation or external something, or that you were still keeping your heart close to the world or to certain people or even to yourself in some degrees, that's what's being broken away. Right. And so it's like, it's really important during this initiation to not be fooled after appearances. I'm hearing that if you guys can really keep your heart open, that this will come in sooner than not. Right. And you guys might already be feeling this, right? You guys might already be at a certain point in your career, or at a certain level of seeing manifestation, seeing demonstrations, like finally seeing your life clicking into place and feeling like things are good, like you're on a good timeline. When you're on this path, you guys, it's like, as long as you are tying your idea of success to what's happening externally, like, you're lost in it. You're lost in it as much as anyone else is, right? But when you're like, okay, I don't know all of the components to this. I don't know why this runoff is happening in this way. I don't know why, when I'm just utilizing my five senses to try to make sense of this, I don't know. Right? But when I keep my heart open, and when I do my best to show up to meet whatever circumstances, situations, obstacles are presenting themselves to me, when I do my absolute best, I can be sure that it's going to lead to success. I can be sure that spirit is on my side. I can be sure that it's going to work out, in most cases, better than not, regardless of how deep down the hole you feel like you have fallen or what, right? Just continue to do your best, right? And understanding that sometimes these things, these tenderizing moments, we don't always have control over what our initiations feel like, right? But you can trust that, the deeper that your heart is broken open, the greater your capacity is to experience true compassion, true empathy, true bliss, true joy, right? I can already feel it too. For some of you guys, it's like, you can almost feel it. You like, when you were younger, or at least this was the case for me, when I was younger and unfortunate things happened, like, in my childlike innocence, I even knew then. Like, there was this awareness that I heard, and I've always been very in tune with my guides from a young age. I could hear them. I could feel them. I literally could feel them. I would, like, hide under my covers at night because I felt like other things were in the room with me, but I didn't know what they were, and I had no parents or people older than me to communicate what the fuck was going on, right? So I would hide and pretend to sleep, but like who was I fooling besides myself, right? So part of me when I was younger, that I really understood that, you know, there were some shitty things that were happening. There were some shitty things that were occurring in my life that made me feel like I was unsafe to love, and that made me feel like it was unsafe to walk amongst this world with an open heart. And I could hear my guides say that this is relevant. This is absolutely relevant for who you came here to be. Experience is absolutely relevant. It's here to shape you in a certain way, and it's going to add to your power. It's going to add to the multiplicity of and your expression of who you came here to be, right? It's all relevant. If it's happening, it's relevant, right? Nothing happens in our life that is not a relevant experience for us, that it's not going to either give us permission, like it's always a permission slip to either shackle ourselves more to this world of form, and so therefore to illusion, therefore to suffering, or it's an invitation in the direction of freedom. It's an invitation into the kingdom of God, into the kingdom of heaven, right? And so this activation, yes, it's happening on the level of the heart, and spirit is really being like, this is here to regenerate you, right? It might feel heavy at first, but go through that grieving process. Don't deny your feelings. Don't deny that purging. But at the same time, just know on the other side of that, there's a lot of growth that it might seem like you might be unable to see at first how whatever you experience, how this is going to lead to this. But that's where we strengthen our faith muscle, which lies at the center of the heart, right? That's the bridge between what I can see, the lower chakras, this world of form, and the higher chakras, what spirit, what intuition is trying to communicate to me. So keep your heart open is the biggest message here. It's a deep initiation, a deep activation of your heart, of just being in devotion to life, surrender, right? Keeping yourself open, keeping yourself malleable, and knowing ultimately that spirit has your best of intentions, right? And sometimes things need to fall apart. Things that we might even think are really good need to fall apart, so different aspects, different pieces can fall together even better, that support us even more than where we currently are. So I hope this brings clarity, confirmation, peace to your heart. Please like this video, comment down below if it resonates, subscribe to my channel if you've been here before, and I hope to see you soon.